What's up, guys? Jasper Chase here, back with another moto vlog. Thank you for tuning in. Today I'm going to go over some beginner bikes, so for all you new riders, stay tuned. This one's going to be good. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to downtown Augusta. This is the spot where I'm going to teach you guys about beginner bikes and how to buy them, what questions you need to ask yourself, all that good stuff. So you just passed the MSF course and you're looking to buy a new bike and you have absolutely no clue what to pick because there are so many options out there for you guys. Well, today I'm going to go through a bunch of stuff that should hopefully help you out, give you a little bit of peace of mind. Oh, hang on. Don't want that guy pulling out in front of me. So there are a couple questions that you're going to have to ask yourself before you even consider buying a bike. One of the things is, have you ever had riding experience? Have you ridden a Grom? Have you ridden a dirt bike? Oh, that's a big bump. Oh! Have you ridden a dirt bike or a Grom or a Z125 or maybe a four-wheeler that requires you to shift? These are the questions you got to ask yourself first. Do I have experience riding? Because that is going to strongly impact the decision you make. For instance, if you have ridden a dirt bike before, let's say you're riding a 250, which is kind of a 150 to 250, which is pretty standard. You should have enough experience to go ahead and get a 500 or 600 cc sport bike, or possibly a 900 to a 1100 cc cruiser. And now that brings up the next question: do you want a cruiser or do you want a sport bike? Now, if you want a sport bike, I would stay between 250 cc's and 600 cc's, and the reason why is, first, anything slower than a 250 cc sport bike is going to get boring really fast. I cannot stress that enough. You're going to spend $3-4 grand on a bike and you're going to get bored of it within a month or two. You're going to figure out how to ride and you'll get more comfortable and more comfortable to the point where you're like, this is stupid, I need a bigger bike, and you've already spent all your money. So what are you going to do then? You're stuck with this bike that you're bored with. Now, if you go to the 600cc range, anything bigger than that is just stupid. A 600cc sport bike can do 100 miles an hour in second gear. There is no reason why anyone would need anything bigger than that other than just to flex or want to go really fast. I had an R1. I need to get over. I had an R1 and would do, I hit 180 miles an hour one time and was like, this is stupid, this is dumb, there's no reason why I need to do this. So that's why I actually went down to I got a 660cc bike, the Aprilia RS660, and I haven't looked back. I absolutely love the bike. So there's no reason to get anything bigger than a 600, and especially if you're just starting out, even if you've had riding experience, those bikes can be very dangerous. So stay between the 250 to 600cc range. If you're looking at a cruiser, that's a whole nother story. You're looking at somewhere between a 500 to a 900cc cruiser. And there goes again, if you get something less than a 500cc, you're going to get bored of it fast. And if it's more than 900cc's, you may not be able to control it. The next question you got to ask yourself is, what am I going to be using it for? Is it for commuting to work and back? Is it for pleasure riding on the weekends? Is it for going somewhat off-road, like doing gravel roads and stuff like that in the country? Those are the things you got to ask yourself before you look at buying your first bike. So there are a ton of options, and stay tuned till the end and I'll give you guys some specific bikes that I think would really work out for you being a beginner rider. So these suggestions are going to be something to ponder during your buying process. Alright, so you're going to want a bike that's easy to handle and control. This is going to make you feel comfortable and confident in your learning process. You also want to make sure that the bike you pick is reliable, obviously, and has low maintenance. So you want to start small because the lighter the motorcycle, the easier it is to control. And you want to make sure you can consider your environment. Like, for instance, if you're like me right now in an urban area, you probably want a lighter, more maneuverable bike to get around the city. Oh, and another thing, I know price is going to be an issue for everybody who's looking to buy a bike. Maybe not an issue, but it's definitely going to be a deciding factor. Do not buy a Korean bike. They have sport bikes and they have cruisers that are Korean. The only brand I can think of right now is Kimco. Don't do it. They're not reliable. They are going to cost you a ton of money in the long run. They're just not worth it. So I don't recommend ever buying one of those. So speaking of price, you have the option to buy new or used. Now, if you buy used, you're going to look at something that you're probably going to be a little more comfortable with, because God forbid you drop it, which most new riders are going to drop their bike. It happens to everyone. But you're not going to be super sad or upset that you scratched your bike or broke off a lever or something like that. But on the flip side, if you go new, then you're going to get maintenance plans, tire plans, you're going to get warranties with it, all kinds of stuff like that. So there are benefits to both. But the most important thing is to get something small and inexpensive that you can drive for a year or two and then upgrade. All right, now on to some real suggestions. Now, first one I want to tell you about is the KTM 390 Corner Rocket. It's a standard naked bike, 373cc, fuel-injected single-cylinder, 6-speed transmission, and it'll cost you around $5,300. Now, this thing looks incredible. It's a naked bike with minimal fairings. The suspension is pretty firm for better cornering, and the power is manageable for beginners and has no issues getting up to highway speed. It has a mid-range seat height due to the firm suspension. It won't give if the ride is heavier than normal. Now, if you want to go on the cruiser side, I suggest the Harley-Davidson 500. It's a 494cc fuel-injected V-twin, 6-speed transmission. It's about $7,000, about $6,900. Now, first things first, you're getting a bike, a Harley no less, for under $10,000. You can't beat that. It's the perfect bike for someone that has a shorter inseam too, because the seat height is 25 inches. It's also only 500 pounds wet, so it's going to be really easy to maneuver. I think this is one of the perfect cruisers for a beginner rider. Another really good cruiser is the Harley-Davidson Super Low. It's a 373cc fuel-injected single-cylinder. It also has a 6-speed transmission, and it's about $8,700. So it's a little bit more than the other one, but again, dealer's choice. They're both really great bikes. This one features a 25.5-inch seat height, so just a half an inch higher, not a big deal. And it's got great ergonomics on it. You can hi, how's it going? That guy was nice, he just waved at me. Okay. The ergonomics on it are really nice too. It's great for long distance riding. You can actually adjust the seat and the foot pegs. Now, although both of these are, they're lower than 500 cc's on the cruiser side, you have to keep in mind that they're big cylinders, so they do have a good amount of horsepower and torque. It's enough to get you up to highway speed or ride safely through urban areas like this. Another cool bike, and I think this is one of my favorites, being a sport bike rider obviously, but the KTM RC390. It's a full fairing sport bike that's great for beginners. The bike is capable of weekend riding, carving up the corners, or just going to the grocery store over the weekend. Another cool feature is that it comes with an ABS version for only a few $100s more. I personally love the ABS on my bike. Unfortunately, I haven't had to use it, but it's there if I need it. I got ABS in front and rear. So for another $300-400, it's worth it to get the ABS version. Now, probably my favorite of the whole list is going to be the Kawasaki Ninja 300 with ABS. 296 cc's with a fuel-injected 2-cylinder. It has a 6-speed transmission and ranges between $5,000 and $5,300. And that $5,300 is going to be the ABS version, which again, for a couple $100 more, it's absolutely worth getting the ABS. It's just a simple, full fairing sport bike that is lightweight, easy to maneuver. You can go in and out of corners like nothing. You can commute to work. You can do pleasure riding on the weekends. I just think it's amazing. Now, there is one flaw. The seat height is going to be a little higher on this one, unfortunately. Okay, and finally, we've got the DRZ 400 SM Super Motard. This is a really cool bike, and it's so popular with beginner riders but it's also really popular with stunt riders. It is a hooligan bike. Anyone can have fun on it. This one's a 398cc carbureted single cylinder with a 5-speed transmission, and it tops our chart at $7,300. So it's a little bit more expensive than the other ones, but it's so much fun. there's no price for fun on this bike. So supermotos are going to be great for off-road and on-road. The DRZ 400 SM has a really long traveling soft suspension, and it has that for the off-road, but unfortunately it's a 35-inch seat. That's really high. I mean, I'm 6'1", and that's high for me, so that's just something you're gonna have to deal with, unfortunately. But overall, I mean, the bike is fantastic, and even in, especially in urban settings where it's more maneuverable, it's lightweight, getting on the highway with it, yes, it'll do highway speeds, but the wind, it's got no wind deflection, so you're gonna have to deal with that. So there's a lot of give and take. It just depends on all the questions you ask yourself before you're doing your buying process. So hopefully all this information helps you out in your buying process to get your first bike. I know that there are a ton of options out there for you to choose. These are just a few of the ones that I thought were really good suggestions. If you have any other suggestions, guys, please feel free to comment down below and let the new riders know what you think the first bike should be. But ultimately, guys, it doesn't matter what bike you buy. As long as you're out there having fun, you're gonna join a community like no other, and you're really gonna love it. I highly recommend it. If you have any questions, please DM me down below, send a comment, all that stuff, guys. But for now, thank you for liking, commenting, sharing, and subscribing. You guys keep doing what you're doing. I'm out.